Hello everyone, I'm Becky Goldsmith with Piece of Cake, and I have two neat tricks to share with you here. This is one of the butterfly blocks from my quilt Butterflies Flutter By. I've got all of the applique pieces cut and in position on the blocks. Now there are multiples of this, and it kind of makes a difference on some of the blocks how each butterfly sits on the fabric. So on some I have directional fabrics and it makes a difference. Before I took my block off the wall, I wrote down the number here. This is number 16 on the background fabric. This will get trimmed away later. But what that number tells me is two things. It tells me that in this quilt that has 16 blocks, this is number 16. It's at the far bottom right-hand corner. And on the placement overlay, I made a note of where the number is. So there's a little number sign here. So when I position my overlay over the background, any of these backgrounds, I'm not going to look at the upper right-hand corner, which is where I would normally look. I am going to look and match up the overlay with the number, the two number sides. That way on directional backgrounds, I'll make sure that I've got everything going in the right direction. My overlay has numbers that tell me the stitching sequence. The first thing that gets appliqued down is this, and then this, and then this, and this, and this, and then it jumps over here. I want to stitch one before I stitch two, and so on. To take these pieces off the block, I take them off in reverse numerical order and place them on a file folder that I've cut down that has a piece of bamboo felt inside. The bamboo felt keeps the pieces from shifting around. I'm going to move that a little bit over. Move this here. Now you won't be able to see it as well as I can, but I'm going to move my overlay above so that I can see the numbers on it. All right, the highest number is number 10. That's this. I'm going to place 10 and then 9 and then 8 and 7 and 6. Now notice I'm making a stack that is a little bit sloped, but these are blocks that don't have a lot of pieces, so I can gang them up together a little bit more if I wanted to. This is number 5. Also notice that the shapes lay over each other. That way I always know what's on the top of the pile. That's number 4. This is number 3. There's number 2. And there's number 1. Oops, I had some pins left in that. Now, if I was ready to go, I could take my background, fold it up, put it with it. I could put the overlay with it. And in fact, because these are so small, as long as I keep the background with these pieces, I could put more than one block on this side of the little book. And I could do the same thing on the other side. So I could carry 4 blocks in this one folder. But I'm not quite done with this. This is the next thing I wanted to show you. I am placing the background flat on my sandpaper board. And I'm going to position the placement overlay on top of it. My background already has a horizontal and vertical grid pressed in. I have already marked a little mark at the end of each pressed in grid. The placement overlay has the same center grid. Now, I made a reverse template for the little, you know, my husband's a biologist, I should know what these are, but I always call them antlers. I know that's wrong, but they feel like antlers to me. And by reverse template, what I mean is I cut the negative space around, let's just call them antlers, around the antlers, and I made sure I could tell where the end of that little curl is. What I want to do is use my placement overlay to position the template on the background fabric. And I want to do it now before I do any of the applique, because this way the template will lay absolutely flat against the fabric for me to trace this. And I tell you what, this is the easiest way I know of to get these lines drawn gracefully on the background. I'm using a firm pencil. This is a Blackwing pencil. Blackwing is the brand. This just happens to be one of their new special editions. This is the Coffee House pencil, but any of the firm or extra firm graphite pencils would work. And you may have another pencil that you like to use for marking lines. I just really like the graphite. I will be using the placement overlay to position all of the applique shapes. These lines will be in the right position. If I needed to, I could take those lines farther in. Now, would I do the embroidery before or after the applique? You could do either. I may do both. I may try it both ways. I think I'm going to want to do it after, because I'm not entirely sure until I see how the whole block looks and maybe how all of the blocks look. I'm not sure what color I want to use on these little embroidered lines. I hope you can find other places to use this idea. It's fast, it's easy, and it really, really works. So, thank you for watching, and may you have many happy stitches.